I was born with a form of muscular dystrophy called spinal muscular atrophy. There are four different types of spinal muscular atrophy. There's type 1, 2, 3, and 4. My sister, my brother, and myself were born with type 2 spinal muscular atrophy, which can affect the life expectancy as it pertains to the function of the heart, the lungs, and the diaphragm. My older sister passed away in 2012 from the disorder, and my brother passed away in 2008 from the disease as well. I have been on treatment for SMA, which was released in December 2016. I've been on treatment since June 22nd of 2018 is when I received my first injection of the new drug Spinraza for my disease. I'm going to clarify. I wasn't a cow. I wasn't sitting there going moo or anything like that.
No.
But the name of the performance, I was accepted into the performance festival Art in Odd Places, and it focused this year on the body. My performance was a two-part performance done in the streets of Chelsea and New York. Part one was called Gaze, Gaze, as in gazing in someone's eyes, and it was based on the current trend of the makeup tutorials and eyebrow tutorials. People are always asking me who does my eyebrows. I do them myself. I'm not $100,000 in student debt for drawing and can't draw a pair of eyebrows. So yes, I do them myself. So I wound up having, I set up a makeup table and I just put my eyebrows on. But I put my eyebrows on in front of a salon called Perfect Brow that was not accessible for wheelchair users. The entire front of the salon was glass, so the people that worked there were watching me while I was doing it. And while I was doing it, I was wearing this collar that said moo, like a cow, said moo. And I had rave music from the 90s, like techno playing. And then afterwards, I pulled my hair down and shook my hair out, and then looked up at the salon, and then they came out and offered to do my eyebrows for me, and it was fun. That was the first part. But it's basically like showing people what it took to prepare the face that they gazed at every day. Giving them a glimpse of what it takes to be me. The second part was called Graze, and it talks about the process of me feeding myself and eating. Oftentimes I don't really like to eat in public because it takes me a little bit longer. I have to chew my food for a very long time so that way I don't choke, because your esophagus is a muscle. My muscles are weakened. And oftentimes there's some food that I can't even swallow, so I have to spit it out in a napkin. But I prepared a dinner table with this like 2-course meal, wine, water, candlelight, and it was set up next to a big heaping mound of New York trash right next to a bus stop. And I was parked underneath a sign that said park. And I was wearing an all-white dress that had words written in black, and these words were things like slut, cunt, bitch, cow, moo, gimp, sped. And these are all words that I've been called personally by people in society because of the way that I look. Being a large woman in a wheelchair that's covered in tattoos, it's not exactly, everyone's going to have a stare. But also, the dress had no chest, so my breasts were hanging out. Mind you, it was 48 degrees outside. I painted my face to resemble that of a cow. I had my hair up in a top knot, and it was me just kind of eating a meal in this outfit on the streets of New York when people walked by, and I asked people for help to see who would actually stop and help me. I also gave people the opportunity to gaze at me while I grazed my food, and ask themselves, what about that person eating right now won't allow me to help them? Why don't I feel inclined to ask them if they need help? And I had people that were out in the crowd that would answer questions, and once the people had their questions answered by those people that were out in the crowd, they would come up and ask me for if I needed help. So people would help me take a bite of my food, they would hold my wine, because at some point my body gets tired of feeding itself, my arm gives out. But the whole idea was, I was dressed, I call it my best Lee Bowery meets bovine orthopedic chic look, and people walked by and watched me eat, and they could either assist me or reject me, but they couldn't deny my form. Right. And a lot of times when I eat in public, I feel like a cow grazing in a field, hence the color palette, hence the meal, hence me chewing food up and spitting it into the crowd if I couldn't swallow it.
That's amazing.
Well, I am a whopping 230 pounds, and I only stand, well, I don't stand at all, but if I were to stand, or if you were to stretch me out, I'm only 5'1", 5'2". So I have I'm very, very round. Very round. I'm a chubby woman. I'm just fat, to be honest. Just fat. I'm a fat woman. It's fine. But, people have always called me a cow or a whale. I had kids that, when I was a little girl, used to call me Moby Dick. Just horrible things. Kids are cruel. But rather than allowing myself to continue to be hurt by these words, I embrace the words and wear them as badges. That's why the dress was covered in those words.
Right.
And using the makeup of a cow was to further say, I'm a cow, and cows gotta eat. You can either help me or just get the hell out of my way.
Exactly.
When people were walking by, I would there's a video. It's on video. I was walking by. This couple were walking by as I'm eating, and of course, I would ask people for help, and they could either assist me or not. It's totally their choice. But it is New York City. I was expecting people to just kind of walk by. So this guy walks by with his girlfriend, and I was like, "Excuse me, can I ask you for some help?" And his girlfriend just walks by me, and he goes, "Sure." And his girlfriend backs up and goes, "Of course we'll help." Kind of following her boyfriend's, direction. And I was like, "Could you hold my wine up for me?" And he held my wine up, and I had a drink. And then, me being from the South, when someone helps you, you shake their hand and you say thank you, and you introduce yourself. So I go, "Thank you." And I reach my hand out, and he goes, "No." And he walked off with his girlfriend. No. And it was like, wow, so you're only half of a jackass?
So maybe he did it because he wanted to impress the girl? Or
I guess he was trying to impress the girl, and the girl was impressed, but then I guess he got freaked out, maybe thought I was hitting on him. I'm like, please, you weren't even that cute. My perspective of humanity is one of bleakness, to be honest with you. Humanity, I try very hard to see the good in people. I try very hard to see the good in people, and I try very hard to see the silver lining. It's what I was taught to do. As I get older, I realize that just like it's okay that you need to try to see the good in people, you need to also not deny the bad in people, because the two can coexist. A person can be great, and they can be horrible. Right. That's where I'm talking about the in-between person, or the people that you need to know. Because you need someone that's going to be great, but will be honest when they are horrible. Right. They're 100% who they are. So humanity continues to disappoint and impress me. I guess during the performance, I was both disappointed and impressed. Disappointed. Actually, I was disappointed at how many people rejected helping me, but I was also impressed that they were just so honest about their rejection. That's what impressed me. It's like, oh, well, I mean, I can handle an asshole. That's okay. I can handle a couple of them. And I was also impressed by the fact that there were so many people that actually were willing to stop and help. And once they got up there and helped me, they asked me questions. And that's what my performance is about. I create a scenario and I allow people to engage with me at the level that they're comfortable. Mm-hmm. And that level of engagement that they're comfortable at opens them up and makes them too vulnerable in my situation, in my scenario. It makes them vulnerable.
Right.
And so we're both vulnerable, and they can ask me something because they realize I'm not going to reject them.
Okay.
I think being a woman, hell, I think being a person, because you can't just say women, because men are just as sensitive as women. They just direct it in a different way.
That's true.
You know, and I like inclusivity when I talk about the human condition. So we're going to say people in general.
Right.
I think that you're going to have times of self-doubt. Everyone will have times of self-doubt. I have times of self-doubt. I have days when I look in the mirror and I just want to pull my face off and put someone else's on because I don't feel pretty. I have days when I lay in bed and I don't want to get up because my butt hurts from sitting in the chair the day before. And I don't want to go outside, and I just want to cuddle my dog and laugh with my best friend Alex and watch stupid TV and listen to him try to talk to me about intellectual stuff while I listen to TV and get mad at him. I want to do things like that. But it's a choice for how long you do things like that. If I want to cry, I cry. I do it in private, and I let it come out, and then I take a deep breath, and I accept the fact that life is not always going to go the way I want it to. Things are not always going to be the way I want them to be, and that my own existence is at peace with the fact that it's a shared existence. Mm-hmm. And I think that self-love comes from your personal experiences, but also a shared existence. It's being able to look at yourself and know that it's okay to know you're not okay.
Right.
But to go outside and face the world anyway. And then to share in a moment with a person who may be in the same situation as you. And maybe helping them learn to love themselves the same way you've learned to love yourself. Like, love is a word that people use too easily, and it has many different levels to it.
Exactly.
Many different levels to it. Do I love myself all the time? No. I'm an asshole. I'm angry and bitter sometimes. Do I like myself? Yes. Do I think I'm a good person? Yes. Do I think that I go out seeking to be a harmful entity in someone else's life? No. I cry at commercials, for God's sake. So I think self-love just comes from, like I said, being able to say, it's okay, I'm not okay, but I'll be okay anyway. I just got to go outside and face the day.
Right.
That's really what it is. Everybody, man, woman, them, they, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, everybody. It's a world. There's a lot of us on it. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, in the grand scheme of life itself, it's like we are just little ants holding on to a big-ass ball of dust. At any moment, we could fly off.